Welcome back everyone to Joe's Reptile World Australia. As I promised last week, today we're looking at the largest species of snake in Australia. That's the Australian scrub python. We have two here, they're not huge, they're about 12 and 13 foot. This one here is a male. He actually has the North Queensland rainforest colour phase. Normally that darker colour phase in the rainforest. You see they get quite large, these are still only young. Here comes the female now. She's actually a little beauty, this one. Female's about 13 foot long. So they're a very active species. Found in North Queensland, from around Townsville area, north, right up to the tip of Cape York Peninsula and some of the islands of Torres Straits. There's also a subspecies in New Guinea. See how long they are there? Magnificent species. The record length for the species is about 8.2 metres long, which is huge. It's believed to be the third or fourth largest species of snake in the world, behind the reticulated python, the anaconda and the African rock python. See how large they are. Once they get to about 16 feet long, they start to put on quite a bit of weight then. So these are still the young animals. This female here, she's from the dry country. You can see she has a lighter colour phase. It's quite a grey colour. It's quite a rare colour for the species. Most of them are this yellow and black sort of colour, but she's got a real grey tinge to her. They have very large teeth, excellent climbers as you can tell by the shape of the body. Egg layer, like all python species lay eggs. You can have up to 32 eggs in a clutch, depending on the size of the female. They start breeding when they're about 2.4 metres long, and then they can just breed any time through their life after that. I actually have a larger pair in the enclosure. They're 18 and 19 foot long, but they're mating, so we won't be showing you them till after Christmas. So make sure you like and subscribe, and after Christmas we'll get the larger ones out after the eggs have hatched. We'll also show you the hatchlings. Hatchlings look a lot different to the adults. Very common in northern Australia. One of the most common snakes you'll see up in North Queensland. We go out at night, sometimes you can find a dozen in a night. They're really common. In places where the jungle carpets also exist, you'll see 15 scrub pythons to one jungle carpet. They're very common species. They eat a wide variety of prey items. They can eat anything up to the size of tree kangaroos. They're actually doing a study up near my mate Jim at Cooktown on tree kangaroos, and they kept losing the tree kangaroos because there was this giant scrubby there that kept taking them. So it must have been a big animal to be eating tree kangaroos like that. So they actually grow really fast when they're hatchlings. By the time they're a year old, they can be 2 metres long. Whereas the reticulated pythons, they can be 3 metres long within a year. Hatchlings are about 67 centimetres long. It's believed to be the largest species of snake in Australia, but there is also a rare species of snake, the Owen Pallai python. And Dr. Gavin Bedford in Northern Territory, he's just bred the species again in captivity, and it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with, because their hatchlings are actually 900 millimetres long when they hatch. So they're actually a lot larger hatchlings, so it'll be interesting to see whether the species tops out as a larger size. And Dr. Gavin Bedford, he'll be the man to figure it out. He's a brilliant snake breeder, loves his animals, highly respected in Australia. You can see this species is known to be quite aggressive, but like all animals, you be gentle, they'll be gentle with you. They're just loving the sunshine on this cold winter morning. The end of my snake shed is actually a room designed just for the scrub pythons. It's a large room, that's their cage. We just had to get them down from the rafters because they're up on the rafters getting the sun off the tin of the roof. So it took us 10 minutes to get them down, didn't it, Brian?
Yeah.
So, female's just loving that sunshine. This one here I've actually bred 4 times in captivity. She's a great breeder. She's quite old, so she mightn't get much longer than that. So, the females do top out at a larger size, even though the males do fight for mating rights. So, the males you won't see much over 16, 17 foot. Females can get over 20 foot long. So, a lot of people think that if a python species, the males fight for mating rights, the males actually get larger than the females, but that's not always the case. So, often they're seeing a biased look at things when they're seeing dominant males with younger breeding females. So, you can see how placid they are. If you hold them gently, they're a great species to handle. So, just got to be very careful in the cage and around feeding time. There's a fella down in South Australia a few years ago. He actually got killed by his pet scrub python when he was trying to feed it. So, everyone in herpiculture in Australia was just shocked when that happened. So, he's a really respected fella, and it was a shame what happened. So you can never be too careful. If you think a snake's tame and you know this animal well, feeding times, any time, you cannot take any risk with such a dangerous species. Any snake over 10 foot is potentially dangerous. People need to keep that in mind if they want to keep a species such as this. Nothing counts more with keeping species like this than experience. So if you've got prior experience with other species, well, that'll put you in good stead. So never overrush what species you want to keep in captivity. Always learn your trade. Us people have been breeding snakes for years. We took 30 years to learn our trade. It doesn't happen in 2 or 5 years. It takes decades to understand and learn enough to keep species and always be safe. So always throw something new at you. It takes years and years to understand what each species is potentially capable of. Well, that's the largest species of snake in Australia. As I said, my larger 2 are mating, so after Christmas we'll pull them out and show you. They're pretty big, so got a lot of weight on them. They're a lot larger than this, about 2 metres longer and probably 4 times the weight. So I'll just put them back in the box. You can see them slide back into the box. He actually bites a bit, this male, but because I'm being gentle, he's fine. So he just never likes going in his box. The biggest problem we have with him. So female's usually pretty good. Here it comes out the top. Stay in there, mister. In there. Just pick up the female. Pick them up mid-body. Hold their weight gently. Usually pretty safe handling a species like this. Now we can hold them too close to the head, too close to the tail. Here comes the male out the top right there. Might put him back in. In you go, come on. There you go, girl. Female's always good at going in the box. She's happy to hide all the time. You can see the difference in the 2 colour phases right there, how light the female actually is. Male's always coming out. Well, miss, you touch them at the tail gently. Usually encourages them to come back, go back in the box. There we go. Well, that's it. That's the Australian scrub python, largest species of snake in Australia. Stay tuned next week. We'll be looking at Australian carpet python, we have quite a large male there for you to look at, and also the Australian diamond python, which is one of the most coveted and prized species in American herpiculture. We have a really beautiful high yellow female there, so make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.